Hello internet, hello and welcome to this video. I'm sick as hell, as you can obviously hear, and well, there's nothing you can do about that. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Sorry about that. Anyways, today I'm bringing you 5 things you should know about Dota. They aren't the most unknown things, but I also think they aren't the most known things. There are of course more than just these 5, but I chose 5, so deal with it. Let's begin, show me. A criticism often raised at Dota is that despite claiming to be one of the most competitive games out there, there's still a lot of randomness going on in that game. And there's no denying that stuff like runes are indeed random. However, a lot of these abilities aren't actually as random as you might think they are, because of something called the pseudo-random distribution. Let's just take an ability like Faceless Void's Time Lock to demonstrate this. The ability does have a 25% chance to proc. However, that is not actually true. Actually, on the first hit of the ability has got a chance of 8.5% to proc. And with each consecutive hit, that chance increases by 8.5%. On average, the ability will proc 25% of the time. However, there's a maximum chance of 11 non-procs. After 11 hits, you will always get a stun. As you can see on the screen, this is how it works. If you've got a pseudo-random distribution, it averages out at around 4 hits if you have a 25% chance of getting that proc. However, it does not have that chance of just getting infinite amounts of hits without ever proccing. So it just makes the game a little bit less random without taking away all of the randomness, which I myself definitely like. As a result to this pseudo-random distribution, most of the chances aren't as beautiful as you want them to be. I'm just gonna give you a few examples, but the Time Lock doesn't have a 25% chance, it actually got a 24.9% chance. The Lycanthrope ultimate crit chance is also not 30%, it's 29.9%. But as you can already tell, most of the abilities' chances are pretty much on spot. Like, who cares about 0.1%? However, there are a few that I think are very interesting. First of all, we got a Sniper Headshot, which is supposed to be 40%, but it's actually 37.7%. Not a big deal. Okay, I can see that. However, consider this. The Stout Shield damage block and the Pullman Shield damage block is actually not 60%, it's 53%. And the Vanguard damage block, and this is a big one, is not 70%, it's 60.1%. So yeah, math. It's difficult and annoying. I just think this is something nice to keep in mind. I'm sure all of you know what a unique attack modifier is, I'm not gonna explain that. However, something interesting I feel like pointing out is that Skadi and lifesteal stacks. Now, I know the in-game tooltips tell you that Skadi stacks with lifesteal on ranged heroes, but that's bullshit. Skadi stacks with lifesteal on any hero. It doesn't matter whether or not they're ranged or melee. There's also another exception to the rule. Klink's searing arrows stack with Skadi if they are put on autocast. If you manually cast them, it's just gonna be the searing arrows. If you right click them, so it's gonna be an autocast, every time you attack something, Skadi will come through. So yeah, more inconsistencies for the win, yay! Let's move on. Cleave stacks with itself. So let's just assume you're playing OMG mode and you get Tiny, and Tiny gets Tidebringer, Great Cleave and Empower. You get an Aghanim Scepter and 5 Battle Furies. In that scenario, if you hit an enemy in front of you, everything around that enemy is going to take more damage, exponentially more damage than the main target. However, and this is something to keep in mind, the cleaves are independent. The Magnus Empower will only have a radius of 200. The Battlefield Cleave will have a radius of 225. The Tidebringer will have a range of 600. And the Sven Great Cleave will have a radius of 300. And the Tiny Cleave, of course, a radius of 400. All of these are independent from each other. Don't get Battle Fury on Kunkka, it's absolutely retarded. I've seen players say, well, it increases your cleave. Yes, it does, but only in a 225 radius. It's not the full 600. You always have to keep that in mind. Another thing I think is interesting is that a denied creep divides 18 experience to enemy heroes within experience range. It doesn't matter whether or not the creep is ranged or melee, it's entirely independent on that, despite the fact that ranged and melee creeps give different amounts of experience. However, something else that's interesting is that enemy melee heroes gain double of whatever their share of the denial experience is. So that's just something to keep in mind. Melee heroes make great solos, or well, I guess make okayish solos, because they get more experience from those denies than a ranged hero would, and it's much more difficult to completely shut down a melee hero than a ranged hero. And last but by no means least, I want to quickly go ahead and explain tower aggro to you, because a lot of players don't know about this and I think you should. Now, towers have a specific targeting priority that determines which enemies it will attack. This list, I'm not reading this by the way, definitely not. This list represents that priority in ascending order. First of all, the closest enemy unit or hero attacking affinity hero with auto attacks. Second, the closest enemy unit or hero attacking the tower itself with auto attacks. Third, closest enemy unit or hero attacking any friendly unit with auto attacks. Fourth, closest enemy unit. 5, closest enemy hero. 6, closest enemy catapult. Now, the tower will only switch the targets under 3 circumstances. First of all, if the target enemy unit or hero dies, if an enemy unit or hero targets a friendly hero, or if an enemy hero being attacked by the tower manually attacks a friendly unit or hero. The tower of course also switches the target if the previous target leaves the radius of the tower. Now let me tell you something, you just have to learn these rules, and if you do, you will be able to man up and play a lot more aggressive. Simply because towers aren't really that scary. You know what they are doing, you know how they behave. Abuse that. You can run into a tower and just spam your abilities as much as you want. The tower won't aggro you unless you fulfill a certain criteria. And you can thoroughly abuse that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a rating on the video. I'm gonna do my best to not be sick tomorrow, but I don't know if I can guarantee anything. And, well, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I usually am not sick. And my voice sounds a lot better than this. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video and see you tomorrow. Bye.